Sunday video dinners where we attempted to cook the same meal simultaneously, laughing at our differing results. But the distance also brought misunderstandings. A delayed reply could spiral into anxiety. A missed call could become a small tragedy in our minds. One particularly cold February morning, I received a call that made my stomach drop. She had fallen ill during one of her lab experiments, exposed to a virus that, while not life-threatening, left her bedridden for weeks. I booked the earliest train to Boston without hesitation, riding through the darkness with nothing but worry and love propelling me forward. Seeing her frail and tired in that stark apartment, I realized just how vulnerable life could make us. The city felt alien, the streets long and unforgiving, but holding her hand, bringing her water, helping her with meals, I felt the depth of my promise. This was love in its truest form. Not the romance of fleeting moments, but the devotion that endures through sickness, struggle, and fear. That year tested us in other ways too. Immigration paperwork, career pressures, and subtle cultural judgments became obstacles we hadn't anticipated. Friends and colleagues questioned our ability to maintain a cross-continental relationship. Family members, though loving, voiced concerns about stability, about practicality, about the realities of life that didn't always align with our romantic ideals. Each comment, each doubt, required patience and resilience. Yet amidst these trials our bond deepened. We celebrated victories together. Her successful defense of a major project, my first promotion at work, and mourned losses together, small and large. Every challenge overcame by love became a milestone in our shared journey. By the time the fellowship ended, she returned to New York, stronger, wiser, and more radiant than ever. We embraced on the airport terminal floor, tears streaming, laughter mingling with sobs, and I realized that the months apart had forged a. And in that shared silence, the world felt infinite. We had survived the trials of new beginnings, of cultural adjustments, of distance. And yet, neither of us knew the storms yet to come. Illnesses, heartbreak, separations that would test our promise in ways neither of us could anticipate. But the seed planted on that first day in Washington Square Park had taken root. It had grown into something enduring, something eternal. We vowed then, as we had vowed countless times before, to face the future together, hand in hand, hearts intertwined, and never let go. 100 years, I thought. No matter what, 100 years with you. Part 2, Trials and Distance. The third year of our journey began with excitement and unease intertwined. She had been offered a prestigious research fellowship in Boston, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that promised to propel her career forward. And yet, the very same opportunity threatened to pull us apart. I wanted nothing more than for her to succeed, but the thought of months, possibly a year, apart filled me with a gnawing emptiness I had never known before. The night before her departure, we sat on her apartment balcony, the city lights flickering like tiny constellations beneath us. I held her hand, feeling the familiar warmth that had become my anchor, my solace in a world often too vast to comprehend. Are we going to survive this? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She squeezed my hand gently. We have to. We promised 100 years, didn't we? I nodded, though inwardly, fear not at my confidence. Love was easier when we were together, when each smile, each touch, each glance reaffirmed our bond. Distance made it abstract, fragile, and yet it also had the strange effect of sharpening our devotion. Our days were consumed by calls, video chats, and letters carried across miles. We found solace in shared routines, morning texts, evening recaps. By the time she returned that fall, our love had matured. The separation had sharpened our appreciation for one another, deepened our emotional intimacy, and solidified the bond that had begun with a chance meeting in Washington Square Park. We were no longer just two individuals drawn together by attraction. We were a team, a pair committed to weathering the world together, choosing each other every day, and living the promise we had spoken beneath the twilight sky. I want to live 100 years with you. Part 1 Conclusion. Roots of a Lifetime. The first 2 years of our love were a mixture of wonder, learning, and quiet resilience. We had faced separation, navigated the expectations of families from two different worlds, and confronted the inevitable small misunderstandings that accompany any deep connection. Yet every obstacle only drew us closer. We discovered that love is not a singular, perfect emotion. It is layered, patient, and above all, persistent. We celebrated festivals together, blending traditions in ways that sometimes amused, sometimes surprised, and sometimes frustrated us. Eid evenings with her family were filled with laughter, stories of childhood mischief, and delicious food that reminded us both of home. Christmas in my tiny apartment in Queens was decorated with the faint scent of pine from a borrowed tree, interspersed with the aroma of samosas we attempted to fry without setting off the smoke detector. These moments, though seemingly ordinary, became sacred. They were the roots from which our 100-year love would grow. One quiet evening, sitting on the rooftop of her apartment and watching the skyline sparkle with lights reflected in the Hudson River, I turned to her and said, "Do you realize how far we've come?" She smiled, leaning her head against my shoulder. "I do," she whispered. "And I also know we still have a long journey ahead. But I wouldn't want to take it with anyone else." By the time summer arrived, our bond had strengthened, yet the reality of distance loomed on the horizon. She received an opportunity to attend a research program in California for 6 months, a chance she had worked for years to earn. I encouraged her to go, though the thought of separation filled me with unease. We promised daily calls, letters, and visits, but I knew that no technology could fully bridge the gap between two hearts separated by thousands of miles. The day she left, I accompanied her to the airport, watching as she disappeared through security, a small figure swallowed by the bustling crowd. I felt an ache I hadn't anticipated, a hollow space in my chest where her presence had always been. But I also felt pride in love, pride in her accomplishments, love so strong it refused to be weakened by distance. Our long-distance months were a test of endurance and trust. Time zones became both a curse and a challenge. Early morning calls clashed with late-night video chats. Packages filled with handwritten letters and small gifts became tokens of our devotion. We celebrated birthdays, holidays, and small victories over screens and phone lines, learning that love could survive physical absence if nurtured with patience, creativity, and unwavering faith. It was during one of these long-distance weeks that I realized something profound. Sitting in my tiny apartment in Queens, staring at the city skyline through rain-streaked windows, I read one of her letters aloud for the 100th time. Her words were simple but potent. No matter the miles, no matter the challenges, our love is not measured by proximity, but by the faith we keep in each other. I smiled through tears. That's when I understood the essence of our promise. The 100 years wasn't just about longevity. It was about enduring every storm, celebrating every joy, and building a life together that was resilient to time, distance, and circumstance.